Welcome along to Obsession Engineering and Rapid Honda. We are here at Brands Hatch for the next round of BSB. If I'm honest though, I am a little bit tired, and I think Rob is too, so I think we ought to pop into the awning and see what's going on. So Rob is out the back just weighing the fuel for the sport bikes. We can do the last little touch, so that is ready for Harley to be on track at 9 o'clock in the morning. But we've been a little bit late getting here last night because we've come straight from Brighton where we've been doing the rapid track coaching bits. So whether you need training on the road or on the track, if you want to be an awesome motorbike rider, come and join us at Rapid. But Claire is laughing because that's about a third take of this introduction. But luckily, I have mixed up some...
You've got your Holy.
I've got some holy caffeine, so in a minute I'm going to be a bit more awake and this lot could stop taking the mickey out of me. Luckily, I'm not alone, am I, Rob? Because you're slightly tired as well.
Sorry, I was just going to run off with this and drink stupid amounts of it to try and get through today.
FP1 complete. Paul's just plugging in to get the data off it. We finished the session 18th. We were actually 11th a fair chunk of the session. We had a very, very slight issue at the end of the session where the panel, the riveter on the inside where it fiberglasses into the back panel had come out, and so that come loose, so we lost the last 3 minutes of the session. But that was a relatively easy fix. But of course it means the last couple of minutes, last sort of 2 laps, a few of the lads went a little bit quicker and just put a little bit of a gap into us. But to be fair, 2 seconds off the pace, first time here on scrub tyres as well. That's a very positive start to the weekend. And my other side project for the weekend is, unsurprisingly, deco again on the Stocker. And so until we have a 600 back on track, I'll be helping deco out as much as I can, and even then hopefully when we get the 600 back, then hopefully I'll still be down in pit lane doing a little bit with deco as well. It's just be a case of where the timings fit, and that is the Stockers rolling down pit lane, heading out for their FP1 session. And so it'll be good to get him out there. I worked with Deco here at the end of last year, and he was in the top 10 for his first times. So we know he's got pace around here. He's coming off the back of a good knock hill, so hopefully we can just we can get moving pretty quick in FP1 and yeah, start actually pushing into the top 10 straight away, hopefully. We're back to squiggly lines. Today's squiggly lines are colourful, and last year's squiggly lines are deco when the bike had slicks in it at the end of last year. Different track conditions, different tyres, and this was in the race, so it was a little bit quicker than we're going so far, but it's useful to just overlay to see where we're losing a little bit of time compared to last year. And the main point actually is in the apexes, we're a little bit slower this year, and generally the slower apex as well, and I think that's basically because the tyres don't make as much grip, so you can't carry as much speed in, because nobody today is going as fast as they were last year. But we have made a few little tweaks because we'll go on to there. So if we look for example on this is the orange is what Deco's asking for on his throttle, and the green line is how much throttle the bike's actually giving it, because you can alter the power modes to how much power you've got, because you don't need 210 horsepower in second gear, and especially not around Brands Hatch. And so there's quite a few places in second where we're not actually getting wide open throttle. So to make the bike a bit easier to ride and less prone to wheelie and stuff, we're actually taking some power out of second. And the thing with Brands is you get quite a lot of wheelie around here, so we've taken some power out so it'll be easier for them to get the throttle open. And because the back brake on the Stockers isn't particularly brilliant, we have actually put a bit of anti-wheelie in it just to make the bike a bit more manageable in places, especially like here onto the back straight. And so hopefully that means he can get wide open throttle longer, which means it'll be easier for him to ride, and in the end it should actually be faster even though we're taking power out, because the bike will be going forwards instead of up. At least that's the theory. We'll find out if it works in the next session. Matt, you and me were watching out at Surtees, trying to see his line through there, because it's quite an important corner, because it's a really long, odd entry, and the exit's really important for the drive down the straight. And we learned something interesting on the last lap, didn't we?
Green sector, first sector, on it, gets caught behind a slower rider, which means he's slower mid-corner, but then going down the next straight, green speed trap. So what have we learned? Slow in, fast out.
And of course, he's actually had a really positive session. He was top 10 for a lot of it, was 13th or 14th at the flag. But of course, what's the one thing he remembers?
The slower rider for one corner.
Is that because motorbike races are just annoying?
Yes, and he's not first. Not yet. Not yet.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Short debrief from Biz with Harley, and then back over and back down pit lane for the Stockers again. So a 9th this morning, made a few little tweaks. Let's see if we can make the bike go faster with having less power in it. Might work. Right then, Deco. 9th in the first session, 10th in the second one. But weirdly, we've done quite a lengthy sort of debrief, chatted through, looked at data, done track maps, all the rest of it. And actually sort of almost feels a little bit glum because the lap times aren't brilliant, but nobody's going fast, are they?
No, I mean, well, I think it was a one lap wonder really in the second race in October, but I've done 1.8 seconds faster, and you look at the lap times and go, what's going on? But then you look at everyone else and they're far off as well. So we're a little bit disappointed, but we're not really. We're still, I think we're 11th overall, so there's time to be gained, and then we've just found an oval clutch basket, so I was getting a lot of chatter, so I think that could have been from that, so see how we get on tomorrow.
Why do you think the lap times are down? Obviously the Stockers this year have gone from, in effect, the same slick as the Superbike, we did just a slightly harder rear, but we're back onto treaded tyres, and it's quite a big difference for around here.
Yeah, funny enough, most places hasn't really made a big difference yet. I don't know, the track feels a bit greasy, the track feels a bit bumpy as well, and yeah, I think the tyres are just not, I don't know, I just don't think they're as good under load here as they have been everywhere else that we have been this year. I mean, I'm 90% sure we've been under the lap record in most places this year until here, so I don't know, it might be a bit of track conditions, tyres, we'll see tomorrow, hopefully it's a bit cooler tomorrow.
So we're going to do, clutch basket, we should help with the chatter thing, and we are doing a little chassis change, a little tyre pressure change, and we're going to go for a track walk in a bit as well.
We are, so yeah, I think everything's going to be good and we'll have a good day tomorrow.
Track walk, always important in an evening. Basically after you've done FP1 and 2, you've got a fair bit of information of what's going on, and you know where your good sectors and bad sectors are, so this is a perfect time to come out. So, Paul, Harley, Matt, that's sort of our viewing bit for Harley's side of the team, and then we've got Illy with us as well, and Deco and Kev, and Kev's lad, and so we just go around, and it's interesting the differences obviously between the Stockers and the sport bike, but actually similar problems crop up, like somewhere like the Exeter Druids where the Stockers obviously spin more, but actually the sport bike spins a little bit on the side of the tyre, and so the way to fix it or to improve it is actually going to be fairly similar, of changing the line slightly, running wide in the middle of the corner and squaring stuff off and getting the bike stuck, that sort of stuff. But this is a very important corner, this is Surtees, this is onto the back straight, so it's a really, really long entry, and it's really easy to either go into the corner a bit early, or if you've been a little bit deep on the brake, you miss the apex completely and then you can't get back to it, and it knackers you run all the way down the back straight. So it's been quite interesting because me and Matt watched Harley on the sport bike through here, so we know exactly where he shuts off. We know that if he gets behind a slower rider, he's faster down the straight because he goes slow in, fast out. So it's quite an important discussion point here. And the Stockers are a little bit later apex because they need to square it off a little bit more. But one of the things we found with Deco is, compared to his times last year when he was quicker, he's running through the apex quicker, even on worse tyres in worse track conditions. So one of the conversations is about making sure we really identify a braking marker so we can move that a little bit earlier, or brake at that point and brake harder, so that he can get the bike stopped a bit more in the middle of the corner, so he can then get the exit a bit more squared off and driving it off. So the track walk, it is a bit of a social as well, but it is also very important for getting a fast lap tomorrow. Welcome to Saturday at Brands Hatch. The Superbikes are racing behind us, and that means I've missed talking about any of qualifying, or missed recording any of qualifying anyway. And to call qualifying an utter disaster would be, I would call, an understatement. So Deco's qualifying was first. He went out, we put like a banker lap in on the scrub tyre, came in, put the new tyre in the back of it, and on the out lap had a mechanical issue with the engine, which led to him crashing it. Luckily the crash was low speed, Deco is absolutely fine. It did actually red flag the session because they couldn't get the bike out of the way. And so in the 4.5 hours since we got the bike back from scrutineering, we've had to put an engine in it and fix crash damage, and that's been quite stressful. But it is done. He has a helmet on, he is ready to go. And then straight after Deco's qualifying, Harley was out. But I tell you what, we'll talk about that after the race that he's about to have. And so I suppose we ought to head to pit lane. So a bit of a sit rep, now we're down in pit lane. The bikes have gone off on the warm-up lap. 21st on the grid, so not the sort of top 10 we should be, but not a complete disaster, so hopefully he can fight his way into the points. And the sun is out. There was a rumour of some rain, but that's managed to stay off for us. And that has been a proper team effort, so Ellie has been in the team and she's been digging in with us. Jamie and Jim have been digging in with us. Deco sponsors have been pitching in, fetching tools and finding bits and sorting things in boxes, and yeah, that has been a proper effort to get that bike back on the grid. But it is on the grid, and so now it's only got to do 15 laps or whatever it is. Right, not the best actual launch, but I don't think he'll have had time to do a practice start, and obviously different engine, different clutch, all the rest of it. That hopefully just gets his elbows out. And that's what, about 6,000 horsepower heading into the first corner looks like. Busy, I'd call it. Unfortunately, we're a couple of laps into the race and it's all gone a bit wrong because Deco's had to pull in. Somebody in front of him missed a gear or messed something up, basically stopped in the corner and Deco's had nowhere to go, run into him. So we've got oil there, probably from their exhaust, a load of rubber on it. It pulled the brake pipe and bits off, so that's knackered our race up. So I think what we're calling today is disaster. Right, it is time for the end of day report at Rapid Honda. It's not the most cheery one I've ever done. I've had a very busy day. So the Deco situation, when we torqued the clutch nut up last night, we didn't have a suitable clutch holding tool, so looks like we haven't got the clutch torqued up correctly, and the little tab on the clutch nut was missing because it's been used far too many times. And that means we haven't got it torqued correctly and locked correctly, and then the clutch nut's come undone, which meant the oil pump drive isn't driving anymore, which meant the engine runs lovely but the oil pump doesn't, and then the engine seizes, and then he knew there was something going wrong, was nearly off the track when it locked up on him. So that's why we had to do an engine change and fix crash damage on Deco's bike, which is not a very good situation. And then in the race, somebody had a mechanical issue in front of him and he didn't have a choice and ran into them, and that ended the race. So on the Deco side of things, it's not gone well. But we have got some new settings for tomorrow to help get the bike steering a little bit more, because what we've tried today also didn't work. And we're trying some little tweaks to engine brake and stuff, so hopefully we'll go better, because it could frankly go much worse. But on the Harley side, Matt's going to fill you in, because I've not actually been in here very often, so Matt's going to say things. But before he starts speaking, I'm going to point out that literally right behind the camera there is Harley. So we can't slate him too much because he's listening. Isn't that right, Harley?
Yeah, I am. Always
Yeah,
listening.
he is. Yeah. So then, Matt.
I mean, just while Harley's here, this might get rid of him. If you ever see him in the paddock, just ask him to do his little dance for you.
Is that dance or dance?
His little dance.
Yeah. But Harley is from up north, so he might not understand what dance is. So it might be a dance.
Dance or dance, whatever. Just
Yeah.
ask him.
Right, actual review of what happened. I mean, right, only one session for Harley day, and it was
Yeah.
qualifying, so it's been a long day not being that busy.
Yes.
Lucky buggers.
The only downside of not being very busy is that you don't get a lot of time to try stuff and do different things. With effectively 4 sessions over a weekend, it's less than a track day, so you've got to get it right straight away. And as a team, like Friday, brilliant. I think we nailed it Friday. Real good progress everywhere. today as a team we probably didn't get it quite right. Harley was doing exactly what we asked of him, and I think probably as a team we confused matters slightly. So we're going back to exactly what he was doing yesterday, bit of finessing, and his pace, I say, this time last year he'd have been 6th on the grid.
The pace has moved on, hasn't it?
And this is his first year and that was their first year, so like for like, we're not a million miles away. It's just this year's moved on so much
That we're 25th.
that we're 25th.
We always talk about, and this is a common one, slow in, fast out. So you go in slower to get the line right and be able to get on the throttle earlier and get the drive out, so you go faster on the way out. So slow in, fast out. When we promoted the idea to Harley, we may have over-egged this slightly, and his slow in was a little bit too slow in today, but his drive out was much better. And so what we've learned is we can brake harder if he wants to, and he can get on the throttle earlier. What we need to do is now add back in a little bit of his natural entry speed, and that would be better. So actually we're going to rephrase it: controlled in, fast out, not slow.
Yes, we've seen it on his data that it's absolutely bang on. When he gets it right, it is bang on. So put it together for a lap and we're onto something.
Yeah, which is useful because we're going to do lots of laps in the race.
Yep,
And we're going to go forwards. And tomorrow is definitely going to be a more positive day, isn't it, Matt?
definitely.
Excellent.
And we're
Right.
by lunchtime.
Exactly. Right. See you in the morning. Sunday morning in the control centre, the nerve centre, the secret control bunker, call it what you want, of Rapid Honda. And me and Paul, of course, have laptops out already because we're deep into the most intricate things about motorbike racing. Or maybe not quite that intricate yet. In fact, I'll show you what we're currently looking at. We're currently looking at pictures of Paul's ZX7R from about 1997. This is Cadwell Park, just along from the scrutineering bay, when they didn't have the nice toilet block and all bikes looked like this, and Dunlop 207RR tyres. We've gone quite geeky this morning, haven't we, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, full marks, Dave. You did spot a 207RR from a moving shot. I mean, I'll doff my cap to you there. Well done.
That was full geekery.
It was. I was impressed. Yeah.
And we were first commented on photos from World 2 Bike where somebody's got their foot down to this smoke coming off their foot, and you've got a photo with smoke coming off your knee slider because it was back in the days of leather knee sliders.
There you go.
Oh, look at that! Just zoom in there by moving the camera closer. Look, you can tiny bit of smoke off that leather knee slider. 207 RR Dunlops. Good tyre those, Paul. You are looking very much like it was the 90s there. Iridium visor.
Iridium, check.
Iridium visor, like fake like iridium silencer that doesn't really fit the exhaust properly. That's classic.
That was style, Dave. That was pure and utter class in those days. I mean, yeah, late 90s. I mean, what more do you want? A ZX7R with the best tyres on the market, leather knee sliders with smoke coming off them, the smell of barbecue from your knee slider. Awesome. And don't forget, you know, we put a little PVC tape over the headlight because we thought you had to do that in those days.
And you took your mirrors off it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Excellent. Do you think we ought to probably do some normal work?
Shall we?
Yeah. So a little update on one of the things I was looking at yesterday evening. Having done the debriefs with Deco, we actually found an interesting comment, and he said that basically when his engine was failing, it was creating a massive amount of engine brake. So when he shut the throttle, it actually backed in properly. And he went, that's amazing. If I could get it stopped like that all the time, I'd be really, really, really fast. Not that he isn't really fast already. And so I thought, we've got the bike on basically a maximum engine brake that is in the kit manual, but I thought, is there a way to do anything else? And so I was hoping that the engine brake throttle minimum that you could adjust below 1 degree, but annoyingly you can't. So you can't actually shut the throttle any more than that, but that's what it is. But then talking to somebody else in the paddock, they were saying that they were actually doing some ignition mapping changes. And at really low throttle openings, basically when you shut the throttle at higher RPM or whatever, you're into this part of the throttle range, which you wouldn't actually use the rest of the time. When the throttle's opening, it won't use that because the throttle's opening. So I thought we can maybe try this, and I don't think this will work, but they were adamant that this created more engine brake by taking ignition out at closed throttle. And if there was fuel going in, it would sort of make sense because it just wouldn't burn as much, or it would burn later, so it wouldn't be igniting the fuel as early. So in theory, if we had fuel going into the bike, that would do its thing. But if you've got it on maximum engine brake, which is mode 16, that has fuel cut in all 4 cylinders. So then I of course had the moment of, is it actually cutting the fuel in all 4 cylinders? But then you look in your data, and this is the power of data. I can come in here, and this is my lambda page, so I've got my lambda readings, throttle openings, RPM, and I've added into here, down here, the actual fuel quantity in cc's that we're using per lap, or per session. And when he's got the throttle shut there, on engine brake, we can actually see the number down there doesn't change, so there is actually no fuel going into it. So I don't think that cutting the ignition out of it's going to make any difference at all, but it was worth having a bit of a look through it, because sometimes you might find something, and we're going to try it for morning warm-up, and hopefully this proves that I'm right, or hopefully I'm wrong and we get more engine brake. Either way, I'm trying to find the positives in hours of work staring at a laptop. So update on Harley's little 660 for today. For morning warm-up we are testing nothing at all, because we know the difference really is actually going to come from Harley. And so we're giving him a consistent bike so that he can work on his riding, which is going to be more important, especially, you know, this weekend you might find a 10th playing with something on the bike, but it doesn't actually make the real 2-second difference to get him to the front, which really has to come from him. And so consistent bike, but conversations about the riding, because that's the rapid way. And so that is ready for morning warm-up, and in a few minutes I'll pop and see Deco and make sure we've got all our plan in place there. I noticed you've done your hair and got your sunglasses polished ready for warm-up, Rob.
BSB, innit?
You're in the pit lane, you've got to look right.
It could be raining and nearly dark, and we still have to wear sunglasses, don't we?
Right, sport bikes are rolling back in after morning warm-up. We were 12th in that, 1:33.9 on scrubtage, and that's only a 10th off what he did in qualifying, so that is a good effort from him. But now I need to just walk a little bit further down pit lane, away from the Honda garage, to where Deco's team are parked up ready for his warm-up. And the super stockers are rolling down pit lane. Pit lane will open in 15 seconds for their 8 minutes. We have changed fork springs, fork height, some engine brake things which probably won't make any difference at all, but I think the chassis changes should definitely help, and so fingers crossed we get a good run. We are doing morning warm-up with a full tank of fuel, which obviously you don't need for 8 minutes, but what I want him to do is get used to the feel of the bike full of fuel, so that when he goes out in the race, his first laps, he knows exactly what the bike's going to feel like, so he can go for it. Decent little morning warm-up for Deco there as well. He crossed the line 11th, quarter of a second quicker than he went at the start of the race yesterday, and generally he would go faster in a race because it's the race, so I'd say that was a pretty solid morning warm-up. I think by the look of the lap time, hopefully we've made a little step forward, and that's given us a few laps of really, really useful information, having pretty much lost everything useful yesterday. So after that we can make a bit more of a decision, maybe have a look at a couple of tweaks for the race, but no, I think that's been a positive warm-up for both Harley and Deco. Harley, a few minutes before we head to pit lane for the race, only race for the weekend, which is a little bit frustrating, but we're going to go forwards, aren't we?
Yeah, mate, I'm going forwards, just can't really go back from where I am, can I? So,
well, you say that. No, we're not going home, we're looking forwards.
Should be alright, yeah, should be fine. Just need to be aggressive and then I should be alright.
Yeah. And we have been working a bit on braking a bit harder this weekend and pushing the front a bit harder and stuff, so actually we've sort of been setting this up to, you know, banzai a few first lap.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's all I've been setting up first lap. I mean, it's not been great weekend, but I think I have pace. Warm up felt easy enough, so I just need to get through as many as I can as soon as I can. Hopefully, don't get caught up. But
not get caught in the group sort of thing, and hopefully
Yeah.
break them and
Yep.
get
that's
our way
it.
into the points. That's
Yeah,
the plan, isn't it?
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. We think we've got pace for in the points, definitely.
I think I've got pace for a top 12-ish.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. It'll be what it'll be, Dave.
Exactly. Rob, the bike's on the grid. They're about to start the warm-up lap. Are you as calm as ever?
Always. I can guarantee that I will be more nervous than he is right now.
Oh well, yes, guaranteed. Yeah. Almost as nervous as when you used to race.
Oh, that was evil. I couldn't even swallow.
You heard it here first. If you want to work at BSB, one of our mates, Chad here, he's got the best job at BSB. He claims to do press things for Honda, but the only thing I've seen Chad do so far today is stand in pit lane and drink coffee whilst wearing sunglasses. How's life?
I'm like a coiled snake, you know what I mean? It's like ready for action, and the caffeine keeps me going. Because I was still working at 11 o'clock last night, unlike some people. And when I say working, I was watching other people putting new engines in bikes and new frames together. But I was drinking coffee over there, watching them do it.
So you were drinking coffee in pit lane?
Yeah, but like further away.
As the bikes line up on the grid then, Harley is 24th on the grid. He would have been 25th, but Charlie Atkins snapped his bike into component parts yesterday and isn't going to get out. So we're at the bottom of the hill, pointing slightly down, which is actually quite a good place to be. He's just there, so behind the Dow thing. What we need to do is basically go up the inside of everybody into turn 1. But of course that is slightly easier said than done because everybody's got that plan. Not bad. That actually looked all right.
All right, that was all right. He's got up the inside of a couple there by the looks of it. Come on, boy!
Just nipped into Honda to look at their TV, so we're watching the TV and watching the timings, and lap 1 we've got 5 places up to 19th, and so if he can just tag onto the group in front of him, who are, they half a second up the road from him, then hopefully, there's only 0.1 up to the next rider. Hopefully he can get in the group in front and get himself upwards to the points, because that would be a proper job. The good news is, up to 12th and knocked 3/4 of a second off from his qualifying time, absolutely flying, and then he's crashed at Paddock Hill Bend. But he was basically leading the group 12th onwards. He'd got to the front of all them, shown some really good speed. He was lapping as quick as Ash Barnes, it was about 8th or something. So that was absolutely mega, but he has crashed. It is reported as rider okay, so we're not too worried about him. But unfortunately that is race over, but the good news is, we have actually, in that race, shown some speed, haven't we?
Absolutely, yeah, good lap times, real improvement in that race to previous sessions this weekend, so
Yes.
positive stuff.
Yeah,
We've got to come away positive with that
Yes.
because it was
Yeah,
excellent.
I would rather he crashed trying to be really, really fast out of 12 than ride around in 20th all day. Well, it's fair to say me and Rob have done our exercise for the day, pushing the gravel extraction unit back from scrutineering. To be fair, obviously a bit of panel damage, probably a little bit of gravel rash in a couple of places, but yeah, that will, that might not quite exactly polish out, but actually it's not looking too bad. And the nice thing is, I would quite like a gravel driveway, so that's going to come in really handy. And I suppose more importantly, the rider's there and he's absolutely fine until we take him out the back and kick his nuts in. What happened?
Felt like it just locked up and then obviously threw me over. My plan was just to try slide it down, but it just gripped again and I got launched. Yeah. So.
But up until that point, 3/4 of a second faster than we'd gone the rest of the weekend, and up to 12th, that was going mega.
Yeah, it was a decent race, wasn't it? It was all right. So can't ask for much more, but felt like I had a bit more pace to catch that group in front. Just couldn't prove it, so I don't know. Be all right. Go again next time.
The nice thing is that is proof that we do actually have proper pace.
Yeah, exactly, and
So-
race pace as well.
Yeah.
I can do it for lap after lap, so
Did
it's
you
all right.
feel like you learned more in that race than probably the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, it felt way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Cool. Oh well, we'll come back another day and do some more.
Yeah.
Paul has the data off the bike, so we're beginning to look at that. So there's lots of wiggly traces where things bounce through gravel. And it's fair to say on the GPS, the racing line is a little different that lap, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, I didn't know the apex was kind of, well, yeah, quite wide into the Kentigan, I think.
Yeah, lovely. Right, well, we'll have a bit of a delve through there and see what's happened with engines and gearboxes and stuff, and see if we can work out what's actually occurred.
Yeah,
Joe's here.
G'day, mate.
He's not even Australian, weirdo. Right, in pit lane for Superstock, Deco is 19th on the grid. We were 20th, but somebody broke an engine in warm-up, so we're now 19th. The only game is that's right on the top of the hill, same side as pole position. But arguably for Paddock Hill Bend and then for Druids, you're actually better off on the inside, so I'd have said 20th is arguably a better actual grid spot. But that's what we've got, so we had a chat on the grid whether he just goes round the outside and hopes for the best round the outside of Parrot, which is a gamble, or whether he can line up on the grid and actually point the bike slightly downhill and try and go straight down to the inside, but it's a long way down. You're basically covering more distance than everybody else then. So that is up to him when the lights change. Looking across row 7, looking past John McGuinness to Declan Connell, we know we've got better pace. I know we've got better pace than what the grid shows, so 19th on the grid, we are going to do points. I just know it. Come on, Deco. Not bad. Good positioning. Yeah, decent first corner that, Deco.
He went half and half there, around the outside to start with and tucked it in tight into Paddock Hill, I think, so yeah, 10th first lap.
10's about 13 to go.
13 to go, yeah. Let's just hope we can do the lap time now and keep the progress going, eh?
Right, race over. P11 at the end. Some good form, middle of the race. I think he was 9 or 10 laps in and did his fastest lap of the weekend at 27.9. So that was over half a second quicker than he'd been all weekend. So it shows we must have got the bike working a little bit better for him. And after the weekend he's had, I think he needed that. So 11th, solid ride. He was right on the back of 10th. Earlier in the race we thought maybe 9th was on, but the gap sort of opened up a bit. But yeah, some solid riding there. That was a good race.
Yeah, 11th from 19th, I think we were a good recovery, but if a few people decided to ride with a bit of a brain, I think we would have caught the group, passed someone and it'd get dive bombed, run us both wide, lose the group again. Just kept on happening, so as soon as I actually fully got past them, caught onto the group again, but by that time my arm was dying, got arm pump, bike was a lot better for the race, and 11th, need to be fairly happy with that after the weekend we've had, but we know we can go faster.
Right, so the plan is go to Thruxton back in the top 10.
That's the plan. Well, top 5.
100%.
100%.
So end of weekend little wrap up, and I think it's fair to say that the results didn't prove the speed that Harley had. In the race it definitely proved he can be fast, but mechanical issue with the bike that was beyond his control unfortunately put us in the gravel, but it's been a real confidence boost I think for him to be actually fighting towards the top 10. So that we're calling positive, even if the results don't show it. And I think Deco did incredibly well in the second race, having basically lost all of yesterday's data, and it's been a tough weekend all round, but actually the end of it's been relatively positive. So that is Brands Hatch done and dusted. We'll be back at Thruxton for some more Rabbit Honda action.